On the corner of Ashridge Lane sat a small brick house, crumbling quietly into the background. Its windows were foggy, the mailbox always full, the garden overgrown. Most people assumed it was abandoned, but it wasn't. Deolira lived there, an elderly woman who walked with a limp, carried a crooked cane, and wore the same brown coat all year round. She rarely spoke. When she did, it was to the birds or the wind. People said she used to be a nurse or a librarian or maybe just lonely. No one really knew, but someone had been watching her house, not with curiosity, but with intent. He didn't look like a criminal. His name was Jalen, 28 years old, drifting through town after getting fired from a warehouse job 3 towns over. He had a cheap hoodie, a hollow wallet, and too many regrets. He had heard rumors. The old ladies got antiques, war stuff, maybe even gold coins. So that night, just after midnight, under a moonless sky, he slipped into the side yard and jimmied open the back window. The house was silent. He entered slowly, flashlight in hand. He expected creaky floorboards and broken furniture. He didn't expect warmth. The house smelled of cinnamon and dust. There were hand-sewn blankets neatly folded on the sofa. Pictures lined the walls, black and white, faded with time. Smiling faces, children, soldiers, nurses. He walked into the living room. A ticking wall clock filled the silence. Then he heard her voice. "Put the picture back." It wasn't angry, not panicked, just calm, tired. Jalen froze. He turned slowly. Deolira was sitting in a rocking chair in the corner, barely lit by moonlight. She wasn't trembling. She wasn't screaming. She was just looking. And on the floor near Jalen's foot was a small framed photo he had accidentally knocked over. "I'm not here to hurt you," he stammered. "I know," she replied. "You're here because you've already been hurt." Her words hit harder than any shout. Jalen took a step back, unsure whether to run or apologize. Instead, he did neither. "What is this place?" he asked. She looked toward the fireplace. Above it, a mantle full of strange items. A rusted locket, a child's shoe, a folded letter tied with string. "This," she said softly, "is where I keep the people who left." Jalen's hands were still shaking, but curiosity took hold. He stepped closer to the mantle. "What's this?" he asked, pointing to the letter. Deolira leaned forward. "That one was written by a boy who couldn't read. He dictated it to me during the war. I wrote it. He was 8, lost his mother. He asked me to give it to his father when he came back." She paused. His father never came back. Jalen slowly sat on the edge of the couch. He no longer felt like a thief. The next item was the locket. "That belonged to a woman I cared for in the hospice wing. She hadn't spoken in weeks. One night she handed it to me, closed her eyes, and passed. Inside was a photo of her and her sister."
I tried to find her family, but she shook her head. "These aren't things," she said. "They're people." Jalen sat still for several minutes. Deolira didn't press him. She rocked slowly in her chair, eyes distant but not disconnected. Finally, Jalen spoke. "I lost my brother last year. Cancer. I held his hand, watched him go. I didn't even have enough money for the funeral." Deolira nodded. She didn't say, "I'm sorry." She didn't have to. "I came here thinking I'd find something worth pawning," he continued. "But I think I found something else." She smiled gently. "We all come in looking for something." Jalen left just before sunrise. Not in a rush, not in shame, just quietly. The next morning, the neighbors found something strange. A note taped to Deolira's front gate.
It read, I came to steal. Instead, I found a memory stronger than any lock. I met a woman who carries the weight of strangers' stories because no one else will. She reminded me that even the broken still carry light. It wasn't signed, but Deolira knew who had written it. Word spread. The woman who everyone thought was senile, strange, invisible, suddenly had visitors. Nurses, veterans, students. People began dropping off old photographs, letters, broken keepsakes they couldn't throw away but didn't know where to put. She never turned anyone away. She became a living archive. Children would sit on her porch and ask, "Whose shoe is this?" Or, "Why is there only one glove in that box?" And she'd tell them stories, not of fame or fortune, but of quiet dignity, of losses mourned in silence. One day, years later, a man in a dark suit came to the door. He was clean-shaven, holding a small package. "You don't remember me," he said. "I remember you crying," she replied with a grin. He smiled back. In his hands was a box. Inside, a photo of Deolira and Jalen, taken the morning after the break-in. She was holding a blanket. He was holding her cane. Underneath the photo, a letter. "I kept trying to leave my past behind, but you taught me. The past is what teaches us how to carry others. I've opened a center in the city for people like me. We call it the second room, in honor of yours." Deolira placed the photo on the mantel.